Welcome, everybody. Welcome back to the I Got a Girl podcast. I'm Coach Jackie here, and I am so excited to just have this conversation with this amazing woman that I met. Gosh, I think we're like 6 years now. I can't even, it all starts to blend
God.
how
Yeah.
many years we've known each other. And I just think like I just met her yesterday, but you have been such a significant part of this part of my journey of this business, building this business after the 30 years in the restaurant industry. And when you came in was such an important part of the beginning of me building it. And we've been tight ever since. And I'm just so grateful for you. And now I get the honor, after being on your podcast, having you on mine. And so you were one of the first podcasts too that I was really like on because, I was a perpetual guest and I didn't want to do this. And now I'm doing it and loving it. So thank you, AI, and all the help that makes it easy now. But anyway, having you here brings so much joy. So Jen, aka Jenelle, we'll talk about that in a minute. I know you as Jenelle, and I will forever know you as Jenelle, and I love you. So tell the world about yourself.
Hey, thank you. Oh my gosh, what an incredible introduction. I kind of started getting chills when I was thinking about it because you're right. I can't believe it's been 6 years and you were in the very beginning stages. So that's amazing. We'll
If
talk about
anyone's
that.
seen me through if anyone's
Oh
seen
my gosh.
me through all the iterations, it's like you and Kristen and Ginny.
Yeah.
You've seen me
Oh
through
my gosh.
all the iterations of my layers of becoming Coach Jackie. So yeah, it's we
Yeah.
could have a whole nother episode on that. We'll do
Whole
that
other
later.
episode on it. No, we'll get to it because it's so good. So yeah, my name is Jenelle. I also go by Jen on social media, Jenelle Ingram. And I am a business identity coach. I really work with women who are trying to leave their corporate girl era behind. And they've been working on a little bit of a side hustle or business on the side. And I help them really bring that to fruition so that they can finally leave the job that is keeping them away from who they really are. So
Yes.
yeah,
So good.
it's the best. It's something, I was in and out of the corporate world 2 or 3 times in my lifetime, and each time I'd go back thinking I was going back to safety, and the minute I got there, I was like, oh God, I hate it. And then lo and behold, a little bit of time would pass. I'd go, oh, wait a minite. This isn't actually safe at all. And it's miserable. Why am I doing this again? What is happening?
That pull between old and new, old version of you and new version of you. Safe, take the risk. Come on, back and forth, the two parts of us that fight. And yeah, now it's not. I officially call myself, and I'm not sure if you're there yet, but you can tell me unemployable. And when I said that to somebody, they were like, no, you are. And I'm like, no, it's a compliment. I am officially unemployable. I cannot go back and get a job. It just doesn't work for me. Like I need to be at least self-employed, contracting, something like that. But I
Right.
can't work full time for someone anymore. I can't.
Yeah. I'm like right on the edge. It's so funny you say that because I was actually having that thought the other day. And I have for the last few years, I had kept some pieces of me and my social media just safe enough. Like I rode the line between just going full out, like, I don't care. I'm just gonna say the things, but like keeping it toned down enough to where I didn't have to worry about somebody, if for some reason I did need another big girl job. Um, but I was having that thought of the other day as like, can I do it though? I just don't know.
Mm-hmm,
It's
mm-hmm.
like, so I'm right on the edge. I'm right on the edge. It's an interesting thing to experience when you realize, no, like there's no going back.
Yes. And I want to highlight the fact that like there is nothing wrong with jobs. There's nothing wrong with
No.
jobs in a business. There's nothing wrong with just business. There's nothing wrong with any of it. It's all right if it's right for you. And I work with entrepreneurs and I work with employees and all high achieving women. And and it doesn't matter what they're doing to, like, obviously create the life and yada yada. But something you said, I want to touch on, because I had the same conversation this week. So I feel like that's like
Oh,
sign
that
from
it's in the
universe.
universe.
Yes. So, and me and you are so good at like, yep, okay, I heard that 3 times. We gotta talk about it. And it was, I don't have anyone I'm hiding from, technically. Like, I don't have like the what if I need this, what if they think. And yet, the coach that I'm working with called me out the other day on, when are you done being polite so everybody will like you? And I
Yes,
was like,
that's what
excuse me?
yes.
She
Okay,
was a
this
fellow
that
Jersey girl. Let me getting blurry here. Okay. Future Jersey. She's a similar Jersey girl. We're both Jersey
yeah,
girls. So she was in my face. And I was like, you don't know me. I'm direct. I'm out there. I'm an open book. Blah, 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 blah. Right. So she just, we had she's like, what are you known for? And when I was going through this conversation, what are you known for? What's your authority?
right.
I softened it. I was preaching. I was preaching, but I softened it. And 3 times she pointed out, she's like, there. Okay,
Yeah.
there and there. I would go, I live it out loud. I'm not saying other coaches don't live it out loud. I da 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 da, and I'm not saying da da da
Oh,
da 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 da, and I'm not saying.
right.
And she was like, "Girl, you don't own it." And I was like, "Oh fuck." So I figured you'd like that conversation, because the one
Yes.
thing, guys, you got to know about Janelle, and when you choose to work with Janelle, you don't expect it to be soft, because when we're in it with our clients, we might be a little softer online because we're still learning how to fully own our fucking power or this and that. But when we're in it with our clients, we are direct, we are straight up, we're going to be,
Yeah.
we're not warm, and we're going to be kind and sweet and nice, but we're going to tell you how it is. And that's what I love about Janelle and her style. Like, she's like, yeah, really? Okay, hold on a second.
Yeah.
Like, she will
No.
tell you how she sees it. No fluff.
Oh. Oh
So,
my God. You know, it's so funny too. I kind of went through this thing, and I don't know if it's been like in the last year or so or what happened where maybe I did soften a bit. I don't know, but I held back, long story short. And it's been an interesting revelation. I recently went through a friendship breakup, and as I was kind of reflecting back on that, one of the realizations that I had is over the last couple of years, I had actually made an effort to not just tell this person exactly what I thought, because sometimes it was rather abrasive. And she would tell me, she's like, you would say things to me that were very, very difficult for me to hear. And I wasn't ready to hear them. And I had to leave you for a period of time and then come back because I couldn't do it. And so there was that part of me that was like, okay, well, do I always have to say the thing? No, I could not. But then what happened was, so for the last year or so in that relationship, I didn't say the things.
mm-hmm,
And then it got to the end of the relationship. And I felt like I ne- I had completely lost my own self in the relationship. I was no longer even saying the things, and frankly, they needed said. And so in the end, I self-abandoned. I absolutely
mm,
self-abandoned.
mm,
And so it's been a very interesting journey for me as I've kind of processed kind of what that looked like and what happened. And I think, we go through those periods where people are like, well, you can't say that to me, or nobody's ever said that to me, or why would you say that? And it's not in a mean,
mm-mm,
it is direct. And here's what I think it is. I think women have been taught for so long to be nice. We are not used to directness.
mm-hmm.
And when
Yes.
it comes along, it's kind of like, oh, did did you say that? What are you
Yeah.
saying to me?
Whereas if a man said it, there wouldn't be a surprise.
No surprise,
No
right?
surprise.
Yeah.
But when
And
we
it's
say it, we're
like,
being a bitch.
right. Yeah. And
Hmm.
so and so then, and this is where I think to what you were trying to say when the coach was asking you, well, tell me about your authority. Tell me about how you're owning it. Because especially as the corporate woman, when you're working in corporate, you have to tone that down all the time because you can't be known as the bitch, or you're not going to get the promotion, or your life's going to be living hell every day. So you can only be so much of a bitch. Like, you do have to kind of be a bitch to get anywhere in corporate, but like,
Mhm.
you can't be too much of a bitch, which
Yeah. Oh
all
yeah.
that's really saying, you're not a bitch at all. You're just being direct, and you're not
Hmm.
willing to hold some man's fragile ego. But so in that process, you lose that part of yourself. And so part
Hmm.
of my job when I'm working with my clients is pulling that back out of them and saying,
Yes.
we're going to say the damn thing.
Yes.
We're not worried about somebody's fragile ego right now. We can't. I can't. And here was the other realization that I had as I was reflecting back on this. It's not my responsibility to try to hold every single one of your triggers and plan for them accordingly. I need you to do the work to freaking heal that shit so that we can have a real friendship conversation.
Hmm. Take some radical responsibility for you and your shit. And
And that is the hardest. Is that not the hardest, Jackie?
I will say the hardest, but the most fulfilling, like the most return. Like, you want to talk about a return on investment, like when
Mm,
you truly understand how to do that. And I don't mean shame and blame, by the way.
no.
I don't mean from a place of like, oh, I'm responsible for his asshole behavior or her stupidity, or no, I'm not saying take on other people's shit, but I'm
No.
saying like when you say you react to something, that's on you. What is your reaction? What is it where is that coming from? What needs to be healed? What needs to be worked, whatever. When we say they made me feel, okay, pause, they didn't make you feel anything, you are choosing to feel that way. Like, it's just that constant, like, taking
Right.
back your power. And it's taking back your power, it's taking back your power, it's taking back your power, and not putting it out on someone else, or giving someone else that, or giving something else that, like, part of you, and bring it back. And it is hard until you realize how important it is, and how crucial it is to be that way in your life, because that's where part of that freedom I talk about, that internal freedom, that is where true freedom kicks in. Like, true
Yeah.
freedom can come from that place.
Yeah.
Oof, what are we,
And
5 minutes in? Damn, sorry.
I
Keep
think
going.
you can do it. I do think that there's room to say, like, if I know something is triggering for you, okay,
Mhm.
if I'm going to start talking about eating disorders and I know that that is a trigger for you, I think it's okay to have empathy and show the compassion
Yes.
to say, okay, hey, I know this is a big thing for you, but I kind of want to talk about, well, that fantastic. But I also don't have to completely own every single person's triggers
Mhm.
or what's difficult for them. And so it is a little bit of a delicate balance. Um, but yeah, I've had so many revelations, especially over the last couple of years, where I had kind of softened. And
Mhm.
what's really come up for me over the last month or so is why and um and cut that shit out.
Yeah. Right, right.
But and I do think a little bit of it was, well, not a little bit, a lot of it, the last well, prior to 2025, I guess, I had still kind of been working in a corporate role, something I thought was supposed to be it was supposed to be a contract, ended up being full-time employment and blah, blah, blah. And, um, and it very much required me uh, to have to soften myself, to watch what I say. I was getting in trouble for things that I was saying. I was like, hey, the VP didn't like that you put that in that group chat. And I'm like, well, that's his ego. I don't know what to tell you. If he doesn't want to be the bad guy, he shouldn't be VP.
Mhm.
Why do I have to like filter myself because he doesn't want to look like the bad guy? Well, then don't be VP.
Mhm.
Like,
Mhm.
what
No,
the?
no. I Well, and we take that, like, like, when we leave that environment, we take that with us into business, right?
Yes.
And
Yes.
so we talk about, because me and you, we are preaching to the choir on doing the work. We have done so
Mhm.
much work on ourselves. We've done so much growth. And that's why this is like something that it's never ending. It's not a one and done. You're always learning. And the awareness that you're describing, that you're having, like, oh, I'm aware of this when I'm in this and this and that, that's the key to the change. That's the key to, like, where you get to choose and decide and shift. And I do think you're going to be unemployable real soon because you're going to be tired of like this, like
I
back and forth.
am.
Like
Mm-hmm.
I own it, and then I'm like, pull it back, and I own it, and there's a point where you're gonna be like, I'm fucking done. And I think you're there. I can hear it.
Yeah.
I'm done pulling it
So,
back.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
I'm someone who thought I wasn't pulling it back, and I am. And I'm like,
The
okay, so it
work
just shows like
continues.
we can go deeper, we can go deeper, we can get more fierce or more whatever. And again, like you said, not disrespectfully. Like I think
No.
there's like emotional intelligence in this realm of like read the room, you know, and stuff like that. But don't lessen yourself
No.
because of the room.
Mm-mm.
Like read it, but don't dim your light because of the room, because the right people will be with you in business, and the people who don't align with you and don't like what you said won't for
Well,
now, and probably might come back.
right? That's what's so funny is I'm like, there's this other coach that actually that we both listened to, and she was like, "Do you know how many people hire me because they don't like me?" And so then because they want to see exactly what I do and what's so great. And so then it's so funny the way our minds work.
Yes.
Um, yeah, it's just there was a place I was gonna go with what we were just saying a second ago about the whole like I got it, girl. Um, oh, that's what I was gonna say. As we're talking about like those triggers or whatever, like yes, you can have that empathy, but you don't have to feel like, oh, because I got it all, I can make sure that nobody's upset and I can make sure that everybody is operating okay. And like I know
Yeah.
you can't actually,
No.
even if you try, you can't.
Well, and that okay, so that is a huge, huge piece of the I got it girl is this control piece, right? Like
Yeah.
we believe there's this part of us that believes that, and it comes from survival. It comes from I had to be in control as a 7-year old, an 8-year old, get to school, make your food,
Yeah.
you know, get dressed, do laundry because nobody was around to do it or help me get places. So I figured it out. And that was me being in control. And I got some shit done. Like I created a really
Right?
cool life. And then I started to think subconsciously realize that like we want to try to control others, and we
Mm,
can control like the relationships we're in, and we can control through solving and saving and problem solving and taking all of it on your shoulders. And so this control piece, it's funny because sometimes during these conversations we're having, I'm like, control there is pretty good. Like we say, the only thing you have control over is yourself, right?
yeah.
So I don't want to get mixed messages. Control self, yes. Others, no.
No.
so
No.
so when we letting go of that control is a huge piece of going from surviving to thriving, where the I gotta go starts to experience. And I gotta say, from my own experience, it was I actually learned how to love fully. I learned how to receive love
Mm.
fully when I finally let go of control. I learned how to receive help from people and support and like receiving in general, like I learned how to do, right? Because we
Right.
don't, as women, we're like, no, 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 no. So where do you see yourself like in like where does it resemble that like letting go of control for you was a good thing, where like you felt like, okay, I learned more about my own self, but then I had to let go of this and I had to let go of that. You shared very much like with your there's a period
Yeah.
of time in your life where like everybody felt like they needed to control you.
Yes.
And that gave you this probably at that point, I'm guessing, I don't want to, but you can tell me, is like, okay, you felt a sense of security through other people having to like
Yeah.
control you. But then it's like you're the reverse of what I'm saying. Like it's like I had to let go of them letting them control me. So tell us
Yes.
about that.
Yeah. No, it was, when I look back at like what was the real turning point in my journey, I think that was part of it was I went through this realization that everybody around me was in some aspect trying to control me and maybe not consciously, but
Mm-hmm.
everything from I had my ex that was still kind of trying to control me financially and with
Mm-hmm.
custody. There was a little bit of a control thing there. I had my mother who always had, I mean, she's a mother. But there was still very much a control aspect in that relationship. Um, I had my job where it felt like I had this job that really was in control of where I could go with my career. They were in control of what I could say. They were in control of how much money I could make, when I was going to make it, what I was going to do, what time I was going to arrive, what time I was going to leave. I was like, everybody else has control but me. Like, there's something wrong with this picture.
Right?
Oh,
There's going to be so many people that relate to this, that you saying that. Now, I'm curious, since I know your story, we haven't brought it up on this yet, but I'm curious when you're in that time frame, because you've had a massive health and wellness and weight shift in your life.
yeah.
And it's a great story to hear. We'll probably do a whole nother podcast on it at some point, episode on it. But do you think that you were in that place because it was the one thing you could control?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And there was so much of a story behind it too. There was,
Hmm.
gosh, there was so many stories. I even had a little bit of it kind of come up for me recently. There was, as I've been processing kind of all that's occurred in my life over the last year, because I had a lot of transitions last year. And
Hmm.
so, it's April of this year. But so as I was reflecting at the beginning of this year, like everything that happened, um, one of the and I sorry, I just lost my train of thought. But oh,
You
I know
say,
where I was going. My one of the thoughts that I had was I missed the fighter in me. I was a fighter. Let me tell you, I fought. If people would tell you, so I growing up since the 5th grade, I wanted to be a lawyer. I was going to be a criminal attorney. Period. You could not convince me otherwise. I was going to be a criminal attorney. I interned for a district court judge when I was in high school. I ended up working in the courthouse right after high school for several years. Like, this was my path. You could not convince me otherwise. And everybody was always like, "You're going to be such a great attorney because you argue night and day. It doesn't matter." And that was just my life. I was a fighter. Whatever it was, I was a fighter. And I had these thoughts as I was reviewing my last year, and I was like, I miss the fighter. I miss the
mm,
girl that had it in her to just fight. And I feel like she's kind of gone away. And some of that has a lot to do with the health issues I've had the last few years. Like, I literally have not had the energy to do much of anything. And
right.
I was like, I want my fighter back. And I had the realization when I was thinking of that part of the story that went with the fighter was being the bigger girl.
Mm,
Because if I'm bigger than you, because I'm only 5'2.5". So,
yeah.
like, I gotta have something, okay? Because it's not height. So,
Yeah. Me neither, girl. Me neither. 5 foot quarter inch. I feel you.
like, like
Like we got the Napoleon complex or whatever they call that, like the little dog complex.
I'm vertically challenged. So I need something. And so for a long time, there was that thought in my mind that was always like, well, I'm the bigger girl. I'm the bigger girl. So good luck getting
Mm,
past me. Good luck getting past me. Good luck getting through me. It stops here. Everything stops here. You will never
mm,
get past it. Right? It was like this armor. And yeah, that was a huge epiphany for me as I was reflecting
that's
back
huge.
for last year. And so, yeah, I'm sure I don't know in the moment, um, long before I lost all my weight, it was really just about, oh, and I just forgot the word, but like vegging. Like, I just,
Hmm.
numbing. Thank you. That's the word I was looking
Numbing.
for.
Yeah. I was just
It
gonna
was
say
just
it
about
sounds good.
numbing everything, just whatever it was. It just helped numb whatever,
Mm-hmm.
everything, all
Mm-hmm.
of it. So,
And so how did you like what shifted to get loose from all of that people of all of the things controlling? Like what happened?
here's the
Because
thing.
someone's living what you're saying, someone's
I
in the same place that
know.
you're here who's listening right now. So it's like, and I know there's not one thing. I'm not saying like, what's the magic
Right?
pill? Like, how did you
I
get out of all of
wish.
it? I wish, right? Um, So,
No,
but what would you say?
I just had this conversation with a client last week or week before last. Because here's the thing, like there is typically a catalyst. And when you're in a situation and there isn't a natural occurring catalyst, you have to somehow recreate one for yourself. Otherwise, you're not
Mhm.
going to move. So there does
Mhm.
need to be some type of catalyst. And more often than not, statistically speaking, that catalyst comes from something that creates anger, hurt,
Mhm.
something of that nature. That's what ultimately gets you to move. Everybody thinks it's the desire. That's actually a misconception. We do want things, but
Mhm.
typically it's the polar opposite of our deepest desire that we're experiencing that's going to cause us to move. And so, if that isn't naturally occurring for you, you need to somehow create some type of catalyst. If you are sitting in a position where you're like, well, I'm stuck and I've been in the same spot several years, and I mean, it's okay. So,
Mhm.
nothing bad is happening in my life. So, I guess I'm good. Well, that doesn't determine a good life. What the
You
hell?
are literally speaking the conversation I had with my client call before you. Like
Oh my gosh.
literally, like no joke. Like I was like, I'm fine, and I'm similar to you, where I was like, all right, in 5 years, if you do nothing different, what's gonna happen in 5 years? What are you gonna feel like? What are you gonna look like? What are you gonna be experiencing in 5 years?
Yes.
Because here's the choice. Those people who complain about their job and don't do anything about it used to drive me bonkers. I'm like, either love where you're at or be content or
Leave.
happy, whatever, or fucking leave, make the
Yes.
change. Like you have two choices. So if you're in a marriage that you're not happy with, or you're in a relationship you're not happy with, well, are you unhappy because of you and you're blaming it on the relationship?
Mm.
Like, how can you like love or accept or be okay or whatever with where you're at or decide to make the change? Like, it's really
Yep.
that cut and dry. And she was like, oh, 5 years from now. Oh, and like when she felt it, she was like, yeah, no, make the change. Okay, good. And so you made a really good point. It's like you have to be in discontent, like
Yes.
dissatisfaction
Yes.
and dis-ease for
Yes.
you to make the change.
Yes. And I had
Yeah.
had, there was a series of life events that all happened like in a very short time that created that for me, where basically I got pissed off. I got really angry. And so it was because of that that I was able to go, okay, I'm not doing this anymore.
Mhm.
And I went and basically demanded a mentor at work. It's such a funny story. I'll tell that story later how that even happened because I wasn't supposed to have a mentor and I basically bullied my way into having a mentor. And and I got the
Love it.
mentor and the first question he asked me, he's like, "Okay, well, so what's your 5-year plan? Where do you see yourself in 5 years?" And I was like, "Well, not here." Like, oh, I guess I'm not supposed to say that to a work mentor, but yeah, I don't want to be here.
I love it.
Not
He
this
was
is
like, okay.
it. So, yeah, it was it and that was it, right? Like there was just these series of events and that helped me see that it was all these other people and things that felt like it was controlling my life. And I was like, if I'm going to take back control, then everything has to change. Everything has to change. Everything about me and my entire situation has to change. And it has to start with the fact that I felt like I was being dishonest or an imposter or whatever we
Mm,
want to call it when I would show up in places because I was like, okay, let's be real. If I can't pass the break room without stopping for a snack, a donut, whatever potluck food is sitting out on the table, whatever it is, I can't pass the damn break room without grabbing something. How am I ever going to show up in a room full of business owners? Because I knew I wanted to go into business for myself and go back because this was my second time back into corporate America. And it was like, well, if I can't trust myself to pass the break room and be super real about what I'm going to do when I go in that break room, how am I ever going to sit in a room and convince anybody that I'm capable of running a business or doing anything?
mhm.
Why would they trust that? Because I can't trust myself to go past the damn break room without grabbing a donut.
Mm.
Right?
Oh, trusting self. It's like another key element to
Yeah.
freedom. Trusting self. Like that, that's so good. Okay. Continue.
But no, that was kind of the epiphany for me, and so then I was like, "Okay, I have to get this weight off," because for me, it truly felt like it was like the physical weight was weighing me down, and
Mhm,
everything else that came with it was weighing on me, and
mhm.
until I got that off of me, I couldn't go anywhere.
Yeah, yeah. Well, and I just wanna pinpoint something that you said to make sure that they pull it from this, is that you, got you got real, like, with yourself. So awareness is the key, I say, and part of awareness is getting really honest with yourself and not fluffing it, softening it. And I'm not talking, again, not from guilt or shame, but from let's get real. This is what I'm really experiencing. This is the truth. And I don't want this anymore. I want a different truth. You know,
Yeah.
because if you don't, like, we can become aware of something and then we can choose that. I mean, let's be honest, old self is more comfortable, even if it's a shit show. Even if it's a shit show. Like, old self is like
Totally.
what we've been living in for 20, 30, whatever amount of years. So our brain is like, this is way more comfortable. It's not new. It's not different. I don't got to go to the gym. I don't got to work hard. I don't got to do all those things. Like, let's stay here because it's just known and it's comfortable. So what we're talking about here is like putting yourself into discomfort, into something that's going to feel different, new, just awkward, uncomfortable. And I was at Mel Robbins last night, the night before I record this year, but and she
Cool.
was like, "You're not gonna like it, and that's
No.
until you do. Like you're
Yeah.
not, and you're not. You might not always like it later anyway. Like but what do you and it was funny because they had camera angles that would make her look really psycho. It was awesome. They would, like, bring in the camera on her, and she's like, "And you're not gonna like it," which is so she'd make all these funny faces. They actually did it was very, like, theatrical what they did in the show last night. It was interesting. It was her stuff, but then theatrical. But anyway, but that was one of the biggest things was, like and she's like, yeah, like, she demonstrated she put a bet on stage and she's like, when I was 40 and we were $800,000 in debt and this is me in bed. And she demonstrated her like not getting out of bed and how she created the 5 second, I
Virtual.
mean, the
Uh-huh.
role. And, uh, and it's so true. Like you have these moments where it's like, yeah, I don't want to do all those things right now. But if I don't, what's the alternative? The
Yeah.
alternative is living exactly like this dissatisfaction, this unhappiness, this that for the rest of my life. What?
No
There's always
way.
time. It's never too late to start.
Yeah.
So,
No.
mm.
So good.
Okay. So, what is next on like what is like right now for Janelle? You've done all these, like you've had all these, you've had all this growth, da, 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 da. But like, what's the next thing for you?
Yeah. It's so fun. I feel like I'm in like this interesting transition and I'm just going along with it. That's we haven't talked about that, but what, like after I got past my initial like couple years of transformation, like then you start getting into like even deeper work talking about, well, now you've got to trust the universe, trust your timing, trust when things come and what you're saying yes to. With that's like a whole other that
Yeah,
comes after.
like
Like
10,
there's step
there's
1.
10 podcasts within this one podcast, by the way.
Seriously. Oh my gosh.
Mhm.
So I've been in such an interesting year of transition and I've just been kind of going along with it, whatever that looks like for me right now. And so that has meant that I've gone back into some freelance contracting work part-time. And it was something I resisted for a while going into for
Mhm.
my business because I was afraid of I was like, I don't want it to look like a job. I don't want it to feel like a job.
Mhm.
Um and I knew I could make decent money, but I wasn't entirely sure like where that would land. And we'll get to the end of the one thing that I'll leave the audience with. But let me just say that you have absolutely got to believe that anything is possible. Because
Yes.
if I would have thought, one of the reasons I resisted it for so long, I was like, well, I can't just I still want to build my coaching business where I'm getting to speak in front of women and not just sharing my story, but sharing the ways in which they could do this too. And so I don't want to get back into contract gigs with corporate where again it feels like a job and I'm working all the time. Well, that's just believing that you can't work part-time and not make full-time salary. And
Mm-hmm.
that's actually not true. You absolutely can, and I'm here to tell you I'm doing it now. Like,
Yes.
it's just it's wild to me, that I can work for half the amount of time and make exactly what I was making in corporate America. It's insane.
Mm-hmm.
And so I've been in this interesting period of transition as I've been working through my coaching business because I really want the opportunity to get in front of more women and and really make that impact for them so that they can do something similar. I'm sure so many of them are sitting on similar dreams and similar aspirations and just going, okay, well, what does that look like? How do I do that? Who do I have to become and to do that? And I think that's maybe the biggest misconception is we think it's just the doing. So much of it is
Mm-hmm.
actually about the woman you have to become. And that's really what I work with my clients on, not so much the doing as it is the
Mm-hmm.
becoming. So yeah, so that's where I'm headed. I'm doing back into the freelance contract work part-time, and which because I do still love it. There's that part of me that
Mm-hmm.
I was in project management for several years, and so there's that part of me that knows it well, and I do enjoy those pieces. I just don't want to have to report into anybody at any
Right.
time
Right.
and do all that. Just
Well,
do it.
here's what I'm hearing and what I love, because I love like when we try not to control and we allow it to unfold the way it's meant to unfold, and we allow ourselves to receive it too, right? So and it never looks never looks like what we
Never,
thought it would look like. So
never,
just own, if you could just take that one message from this podcast, it
never.
never looks the way you expected or think or plan or whatever. And then it's like, yeah, okay. What do they say? Like, yeah, okay, God, hold my beer. Whatever the saying is, like you think it's this, and then boom, it turns out to be this. And client after client after client after client, like at once we get to that place, we're like, oh, okay, I get it. Because we get into the allowance and the letting go and then like
Yep.
watching it unfold and like we can put into play what we desire to be experiencing and who we want to be, and then universe, God, whatever you believe in, delivers to what fits that, like what it is that's meant to be and all that. And I know that's like if you're newer to this, it's a hard concept to grasp, but once you grasp it, life gets so much easier. Let's
Oh
just
my
be
goodness.
honest. Like
So
you
much
make,
easier.
like Janelle said, twice as much for half the time. If you
Period.
and there's
Period.
no wrong way. Like she gets to do this and she gets to do this and she gets to do this, and then she goes to go talk on stages and she gets to make money here and make money there and influence people and inspire women and change lives and do coaching. Like she gets to do all of what feels good. And you said that it feels good. I
It
like it.
feels
So do more
amazing.
of that.
Yeah. Right? That's the key. Like you don't have to completely diminish any one part of you. So that's
Mm-mm.
kind of the beauty of what I'm doing now is like I spend a few hours of my day kind of satisfying that analytical part of my brain and then I get a few hours of creativity and then I get the people part of me and that right like you
I
get to
love it.
experience all those different levels of yourself assuming that you can trust and that all of that is possible and could absolutely happen.
Yes. All right. Well, we're just going to wrap it up right there because that is a key point that you
Yes.
just said. All is possible if you can believe and stand in the certainty that it is and allow it yourself to receive it. Like there's so many pieces there.
Yes. Yeah.
So if people want to stay in your world just because they love you like I do, where can they come? Where can they go?
Yeah. So you can find me on Facebook and Instagram as Jenelle Ingram or Jen Ingram. If you put in Jen, it'll still work. But I do want to share one of the things that I'm doing with a couple of partners is on Instagram, we have an account called Her Seat Collective, and that is our event collective. And we do different local events, but we are going to be expanding those events out into retreats and some other activities for. Now, this is both for women who are starting their own business, but also just for the corporate girlies who still love their career and know that that's where
Hmm.
they want to land. Because it's really just about empowering women to live their dreams and their life as authentically as they can. And so, yeah, it's
Yes.
called Her Seat Collective. And if you want to go out and
Excellent.
find that account on Instagram, I'll be sure and share that with Jackie too.
Yes, and we'll drop all the links to these things in the show notes below. And I don't know, I think you've said so many nuggets. I'm not sure if we need a final, but is there any one last thing you want to share with them?
I think the biggest piece, uh, and I say this a million times over, is you have to believe in you.
Yes.
You have to believe
Mm.
in you.
I don't have a mic right now, but drop it. So awesome. Well, thank you. Thank you so much for coming. Thank you for being on here. I adore you. And if you guys are catching this and anything that you heard that you think another woman needs to hear, please share this out because Jenelle is changing lives. And I just want to really shine her light so that more women can take that belief in self and really own it. Don't forget to subscribe or follow or wherever you're watching this, whether it's on YouTube or your podcast channel or whatever. And we'll see you in the next episode. Thank you.